You're listening to episode 51 of This Makes Me Happy. Welcome to This Makes Me Happy, a podcast about people and what makes them happy. I'm your host, Bernardo Margulis. I'm a designer, art director, and educator, and I'm the principal of This Makes Me Happy, a design studio where I help my clients with branding and visual communications. I'm very happy to present This Makes Me Happy, the podcast, where each week I chat with a different person about what makes them happy. My guests come from all walks of life, and each of them shares their own personal happy stories. Join us every week for a unique conversation. Hello, today I am very happy to talk with Luca Cusolito. Luca is a creative entrepreneur, a visual artist, and the founder of Creative Enabler. Luca, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, very happy to chat with you. Keep chatting because we chatted for a little bit before this. Luca, before we dive into it, is there anything you want people to know about you?
Yeah, I gave this a lot of thought. I contemplated telling the story of how I cracked my head open while freak dancing in the living room at the age of 3. But I think I will demur on that subject and just say I love helping my community think of creative ways to market and promote their business.
I'm very curious about the breakdancing, even though you said you are not going to go there, because I know we're going to talk about the community.
Well, maybe. Yeah. No, I could. I could theoretically. It involved the movie Annie.
Okay.
Which doesn't usually prompt like freak dancing from a toddler, but I don't know.
The sun will come tomorrow and you're just all over the place.
I'm just like, yeah, sun's going to come out tomorrow. And then, got dizzy, cracked my head on the coffee table. My poor long-suffering mother. Seriously.
Well, happy that you're okay and you're with us today. And
yeah,
that we can talk about your communities. I don't want to gloss over the communities, but in our pre-conversations, I have a feeling it's going to come up later anyway. So I'll jump right into it. What makes you happy?
I love collaborations with other creative professionals, which is I'm not saying that to be self-promotional. It's a legitimate thing, especially people in other industries too, because it's very interesting that when two creative people connect, what can come from that and the different projects and ideas that can be, born out of that. So I really enjoy collaborations and thinking about my business in a different way, but also helping other people that are like-minded explore different ways to think about their business. That can translate into visual art projects. It can translate into events or just conversations like this. Also tacos, big fan of tacos and nachos. Probably unhealthily so, but that's true. I don't know if you saw it when we were on the, Google Air, but I actually have ornaments that are tacos that are in my office.
I'll have to go back to the video. Luckily, I saved it.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
So let's go to the first part. I'm writing notes, so we will come back to tacos. But
yeah, we'll go back to tacos.
Yeah, and it's funny you said not to be self-promotional. Initially, I would tell people, don't talk about work. But for some people, it's impossible for that to not blend to their personal life. So now I say talk about your passions. And it sounds It sounds like it's not just work-related. That it sounds like you're passionate about collaborating with other people.
Yeah, it's a big part of, what I do personally and professionally. They're so intertwined. So my company is Creative Enabler, and I am an artist. I work with a lot of artists as well. I work with a lot of creative professionals and people that are in that spectrum, small business owners who create things, whether it's food or things like that. But it's really a passion of mine to either bring people together to create opportunities or to work with other people who are interested in creating something different. And like I said, they could take so many different forms, but I'm very, very, dare I say, #blessed that I've been able to build a life and a profession around this mission and these values. And quite frankly, I want to help other people do the same.
You mentioned bringing people together and creating opportunities. How much these collaborations are about the people and how much of these collaborations are about the product that come out of them?
that's kind of a toughie. I mean, I would say they're both deeply interwoven, because it could be an idea or a concept that initially is founded in the idea of moving a service or moving a product, moving in the sense of selling, right? Like moving a service or moving a product, but the outcome is community collaboration or connection.
And how do you create those communities? Or how do you find those collaborations?
I guess I would say a lot of it is instinct, being able to quickly discern where different people's talents and energy and creative inspiration lie, and then making those introductions. For a while, I had people jokingly referring to me as like a conduit or a bridge. That was something that people used to say about me, is that I was this bridge that connected, creatives to the outside world to get the message out there. And those introductions can come in the form of creating just purely an organic, introduction, or it can take the form of bringing another creative professional into an existing project. And I try to facilitate dialogue as often as possible.
And is it always for your own projects, or do you often facilitate other people to connect with each other?
Both, honestly. I probably do more introductions and bringing people together not attached to my business, just to get people, to spark the dialogue and get people engaging in their own independent capacity than necessarily for my business.
Was this always the case? Were you always connecting people, or was there a starting point?
Well, so I moved up to Jersey City. I guess I'm going on about 10 years now. I've been in downtown Jersey City. And when I moved up here, I had a handmade cosmetic company. And I noticed there were not a tremendous amount of handmade art shows here in Jersey City. If you wanted to do something like that, you had to go into Brooklyn, or you had to go to Philly, or you had to go to another market. So I started the Jersey City Craft Mafia, which was a chapter that's part of an international organization. I'm not sure if there might still be craft mafias around. It was originally started, I believe, in Austin. But I started the Jersey City Craft Mafia as a way to bring handmade artists together so that we could connect, collaborate, and then also create events around our handmade art. So it's kind of like, okay, well, there's no handmade arts in this area. Let's just start making our own. So I did that for, I guess, about 4 or 5 years. I did the Jersey City Craft Mafia. And then I later went on to work in different capacities with different organizations and small businesses to create community events and greater collaboration.
So it started basically out of necessity.
And passion and a lot of love.
So how was it before? You were in Miami before that.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
954. Sorry.
So for someone who's from Fort Lauderdale, is it, if from the outside to say Miami, is that like a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just very different.
Okay.
It was just a very different experience growing up in Broward County versus an experience of growing up in Miami-Dade.
Okay.
Yeah, because Broward County is a little more suburban. It's a little quieter. There's a lot more retirees. Like, it's just a different vibe. It's just a different speed.
So when you were in Miami, did you already have that community built in, or was that not something that you explored while you were there? Sorry, Fort Lauderdale. I said Miami again. Fort
Lauderdale. So I started getting involved in the Etsy handmade art community probably in 2004, 2005. Like when they were brand spanking new, they were about to go into their first version. They were coming out of beta. And I joined the Miami Craft Mafia, which was pretty cool. And that was interesting. And we did try to get some handmade art markets off the ground, but it just wasn't the right time, I felt. The area was very transient. There wasn't really a huge priority on handmade. I literally would have people come up to me at craft shows and be like, why would I pay $5 for this lip balm when I can go to Walmart and get it for 99 cents? And of course, like nowadays, like that answer, it's very clear. It's like, well, because it was made by a local business. You're shopping local, you're supporting local, your dollar is going back into the local economy. You're supporting an artist, and this is part of the greater good. But, back in like 2005, you're doing these handmade art markets, people weren't so much into that. So the experience was a little bit, I felt like it wasn't like the right time in South Florida. Now there's all kinds of amazing markets. There's all kinds of amazing handmade art markets, craft shows. They're more like alternate crafty. There definitely is the market and a value system about handmade.
Yeah, I think in general, people, as you said before, people nowadays understand, and you say, well, this is $2 versus 50 cents because there's value. There's healthier material, higher quality and healthier supplies that went into it versus, you don't have to explain this to people as you had to 5 years ago.
Right.
And then how did that translate from you were physically making products and now you're working more with marketing and ideas? Has that affected your sense of collaboration, jumping from physical products to other kind of services?
So what was funny is when I had my vegan cosmetic company, I was a one-person shop. I started the business, I think, when I was about 23 years old. I did the graphic design, the logo, the visual identity, all the web graphics. I did the photography, which is hysterical because I remember like getting white poster board and waiting for the right, sunlight and then photographing and like bending the poster board. Now you could go on Amazon and you could buy a light box for like, $12 and they ship it to your house the next day for free.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny the way that things have changed in that market, but it's like, I did everything. I did all the marketing, all the sales copy, all the customer service, the production of the actual product, the shipping of the product, the follow-up with the customers, all that. And I realized after about 5 or 6 years of doing Lolly Bomb Beauty that I really loved the marketing aspect of it. I really loved the branding. I loved the visual identity. I loved creating a story around my product that enticed people to try it and to enjoy it. I had people that point blank just told me, they bought my product, even though it was a little bit more than my competitors, they would purchase my product just based on the packaging and the logo and the design, or that I was funny in my Etsy listing. I was like cute about it. So that quickly became one of my favorite parts of my business. And when I decided to discontinue doing that business, I kind of took a hard look at what I really was passionate about and what really, invigorated me and made me happy about my business. And it was really the collaborations. I would often collaborate with other Etsy sellers, or I do a collaboration even with an Etsy buyer. If they were like, hey, I would love to have a moisturizer, but can you make it smell like French toast? I'd be like, yeah, let's find a way to get some French toast body butter to you, I had one person that was like, this is a little weird, but I really like the smell of beer. I'm like, you like the smell of beer so much that you want to slather it on your body, like after a shower? They're like, yeah, I just love the smell of beer. I'm like, all right, let's make you a formula. Let's make you a custom scent. So I really love that aspect of my business, the creativity that a customer would bring to a quote-unquote project or like a little side project. And also connecting with other sellers that were often encountering the same challenges and victories that I was. And then, of course, the marketing, the branding, and all that. So when I decided to take a step back from Lolly Bomb, or well, not really take a step back, but just, close up the shop, it became kind of a natural continuation to help other creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, handmade artists, and creative professionals embark on their branding and marketing journey with my company, Creative Enabler. So it kind of is just a continuation of the things that I love the most out of my last business, going into this, this business. And the only thing is less fragrance oil. I don't have my kitchen isn't segmented into here's like the stuff that I actually prepare to eat and here's like the stuff. No, I was actually, I was working with commercial kitchens and stuff, but I did, there was a number of stuff like, remnants of handmade materials that made their way into my home when they were shipped. It was like insanity. I was living in my business, basically. Having that experience, especially in my 20s, like that was my 20s, was having that business and traveling with that business and making connections with that business. It definitely has inspired the kind of collaborations and my collaborative mentality in this new iteration of my life.
And then you earlier mentioned that it's not just professional collaborations, but also personal projects in your personal life. How does that collaboration translate outside of work?
Because I'm a visual artist and a lot of my friends and collaborators are artists as well, it's often a continuation of my work in some way, shape, or form. But when you love what you do, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But some of the personal collaborations, for instance, I have a very dear friend who's a very gifted photographer. And I had a work session with her. I had a brainstorm strategy where she had come to me with a specific issue, and we talked through it for a couple hours. And I was giving her advice on how to structure her business and different models that she could try. But one of the things that she said really struck me. She was talking about how with her photography, she really likes communicating the story of the person in front of her lens. And she really likes working like with families and couples, but also, business owners and things like that. She likes to communicate their story. She likes communicating the values of like a strong foundation or like a strong family with, her camera. And after our meeting, I got some stuff out of that too, because I've known about her business. I know about her personally because she's my friend, but to hear her iterate that those values are so important to her, it really got me thinking. And the next day I texted her, like first thing in the morning, I texted her and I was like, hey, talk more about what you were saying. I want to commission you to do a video project with me. I want to communicate my company's origin story. Because I tell people a lot, like, on my website and in person, I'm a third generation female small business owner, but I've never really told the story of like what my great grandmother did and what my grandmother did and what my mother did. So I reached out to Tracy and I was like, hey, like I got to thinking about what we were discussing. And actually, I think that there's a way that we can work together, because I would love to tell the origin story of how my business came about and how much of an inspiration my grandmother and my mother were to me. And I would love to have you capture that story through photography and video. I'd love to surprise my family with that for Mother's Day. Yeah, that's an example of like, I guess, the work stuff and then the personal stuff, but they're all kind of like intertwined.
I'll just throw it out there and we can answer them both together. But the idea that nowadays we see female entrepreneurs, and especially in the U.S., female entrepreneurs are still battling for equality and having a voice, a seat at the table, which is stupid in 2017 that that's still a thing. But thinking back at, your mother's generation, your great grandmother's generation, having, being a small business owner in those, trailblazing, setting the scene for newer generations.
So my great-grandmother raised 4 daughters in Texas. She had a number of roles. Like, she was a seamstress. She was a very gifted seamstress. And she would do complete, like, dress production, like beautiful, beautiful dresses, like wedding dresses, things like that. She additionally owned and operated a grocery store for many, many years. And she did it as a single mother with 4 daughters, which is insanity. I can't even imagine what that would have been like in like the Depression era to try to pull that off. Also, it should be noted, I don't know my way around a needle or a thread, which is deeply unfortunate. And I think about that sometimes and I'm like, well, I can do web development. So like, maybe there's that, and oh my goodness, my mother is an absolute powerhouse. My mom and my stepdad have several tax offices in South Florida. My mom does marketing and promotion for a tax franchise, it kind of like in a consulting capacity. And she additionally volunteers does all this different stuff. She runs a lot of nonprofit type events. She's really involved with Relay for Life in Broward County. She had a gift basket business for many, many years. She was like the preferred vendor for the Florida Panthers and a number of hospitals throughout South Florida. And she's very crafty. She's very into like the whole handmade art thing. That's kind of her jam. My favorite story about my mom is that when she was going into labor with me, she had a handmade chocolate business, and when she was in the middle of an order when she started to go into labor. And my grandfather, of course, was like, okay, it's time, got to get you to the hospital. She refused to go to the hospital until my grandfather promised that he would deliver the handmade chocolate order to the customer. He was like,
Wow.
I got to get you to the hospital first. And she was like, well, we got to deliver this chocolate. They paid for it. We got to deliver it. So that, I think, kind of set the tone, you know. That's a pretty good indication of what my mom is like.
Wow. So she was teaching you work ethics before you even came out.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, I was on my way. It was happening. Whether she wanted it to, you know, like in that moment to happen, like I was like, all right, it's happening. And she's like, hold up, wait a minute, for sure. But my mom has had like a number of kind of startup-y type things that she's done specific to, you know, creation and creativity. You know, as I mentioned, the aforementioned handmade chocolate business, gift basket business. She was selling in craft shows. She stayed home with me, I think, until I was about 5 or 6. So she would do handmade crafts, and then she would sell them at craft shows. And I have very early memories of basically hanging out underneath the craft fair table, you know, underneath the 8-foot pop-up table, playing with my toys while she was selling stuff that she had made.
So whether it's conscious or not, that had to have influenced you to launch your career and to be your creative entrepreneur, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, definitely. So I basically started building websites when I was like 12. And that was very helpful in buying my first car when I was a teenager. Did you do GeoCities?
Oh my goodness, GeoCities, all that good stuff. But I taught myself HTML because I wanted a way to publish my art and publish my writing. And back in the day, there were no self-publishing, you know, capabilities online. And it wasn't necessarily like, now it's cute. It's like, oh, my 12-year-old daughter wants to publish her poetry. And you could probably get your 12-year-old daughter, like, published, right? But
we had to hand code it.
Yeah.
And then Angel Fire came out.
Oh my gosh, Angel Fire. Sometimes I want to go on Wayback When Machine and just see if I can find all my horrible, like, old websites.
Oh, I don't.
I'll save that for another day, though. But I started doing the web development, and I was able to buy my first car. I inadvertently fell into commercial real estate, like, while I was going to college, which was great and lucrative, and I saved my money so that I was able to leave commercial real estate and then embark on my handmade business, which was very good. So when I told my family, like, hey, you know that thing that gives me health insurance and, you know, I have to, like, wear a suit to work and, you know, I have, like, a steady paycheck. You know that thing that, like, pays my bills? Yeah, I'm going to leave that and I'm going to live off my savings and I'm going to make soap now. My family, because, like, they're entrepreneurs, they were like, oh, what took you so long, sort of thing. They were obviously a little concerned, like, you know, just don't put all your money into your business. Like, be mindful. But they were also very supportive. They didn't really give me a lot of flack for following my heart. I think it was the best way I could have potentially, you know, had my 20s pan out, to be honest with you. I was doing my small business. But they were very supportive. And then most recently, I worked with the city of Jersey City for about 3 years, and I made the decision that I was going to leave my full-time job again, health insurance and benefits and paid vacation and all that good stuff, and relaunch Creative Enabler. And this time my family was a little like, okay, the first time we were really accepting of your life decisions, that was like 10 years ago. Like, now, is that what you want to do, honey? I'm like, yeah. Don't worry, it's going to be great. Don't worry about it. I'm like, you guys are doing it. They're like, we do taxes. I'm like, yeah, but people need creative strategy. Come on. Everyone needs creative strategy. So they've been very supportive of my life shift, if you will.
And here we are talking about it.
And here we are. Yeah.
So
I'd also like to say for the record that this is my very first podcast that I've ever done. So I apologize preemptively to your audience. It's probably like, why is this girl rambling about soap? Sorry, I haven't had my tacos today, guys.
Well, I was gonna. So two comments. One, I'm happy this is your first podcast. I do have to say this has been the gateway for other people. Maria Karras, who is also on the Being Boss group, I was her first podcast, and then a week later she was doing like 3 more podcasts. So if you end up getting addicted to it, you're welcome.
Hey, thanks.
And I was gonna do like a 90-degree turn and ask you about tacos, because we haven't talked about tacos yet.
Oh, good. I did a segue. Did you see what I did there?
You segued for me without even knowing I was gonna go there.
Oh, it was a psychic segue.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So tell me about
let's talk tacos. It's like lunchtime. Let's talk tacos.
What about tacos? What about tacos make you happy?
Oh my gosh, everything. I think it's the texture, really. I think it's the crunch. I think it's just the tortilla chip is a really great vessel, or a conduit, if you will, for getting the cheese and the jalapenos into your mouth.
So it's crispy tacos all the time?
Oh, I'll do a burrito shell.
Okay.
What the hell? I'll do a burrito shell. I'll get down with that. Tortilla chips are kind of the jam, though. Crunchy taco shells, all about it.
So when you do the soft... Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, the quicker that I can get the hot sauce and the jalapenos and the aforementioned melted cheese into my mouth, I would probably even eat lettuce. I'd probably even put it on... I don't know if that would be a really great vehicle for that, but, it's really just a vehicle to get jalapenos in there.
So is a soft taco the consolation prize, or is it equally enjoyable?
It's okay. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. I realize in my community, it's really all about like the soft corn tortilla. They do like the foofy tacos, and they're like real small, and it's like, okay. I mean, it's kind of a taco. It's a taco. I'm like more into like the crunchy taco. There's not so much of that in this area, the crunchy taco. I'm a big fan of the crunchy taco. Or a tostada. I'm all about the tostadas. That's great, too. I don't discriminate.
Is there anywhere near you that you get the best tacos or the best tostada? Or
they don't really do the crunchy tacos.
No.
We have like Taqueria downtown, which is amazing, which I highly recommend. It's very like, it's like a taqueria. It's like, one that you would find in California. It's delicious. It's wonderful. I love it. No hard tacos. And it used to say on the menu, like, don't even think about asking for hard tacos.
Oh,
and
wow.
Don't even think about asking for chips and salsa at the table. Now, they recently repealed that, and now they have brought crunchy tacos and salsa onto the table.
Why would they do that?
Well, we got hit pretty bad by a hurricane not too long ago, and it's kind of like a basement level, this restaurant, and they got messed up. I don't know what the profanity policy is on the show, but I'm just going to keep it real PG. They got messed up. And when they finally cleaned up after all the damage from the hurricane, they had rebuilt the space. It looked gorgeous. But they also kind of lightened up on some of the stuff that they had printed on their menu not to ask about. So I don't know if it's like a kinder, softer taqueria downtown here in Jersey City.
With soft tacos?
But now, yeah, exactly. Oh, well played. So they do now have chips hard chips on the table and salsa, which I'm excited about, but no hard tacos.
Well, we'll take what we can get.
Again, the melted cheese and the jalapeno. All about it.
So I was going to ask, do you have a favorite kind of taco or anything that has jalapeno and cheese on it?
You know what? I've been really loving taking cauliflower and almost creating like a ground beef out of the cauliflower. That's been like my latest jam. So like I'll do taco seasoning on it, and like I cook it up, and I put all these spices. I put like chili on it and lime, and it's delicious. And I basically make cauliflower crumbles out of the I kind of give it that ground beef consistency. That's been my jam lately.
So wait, are you vegetarian? Vegan?
Not intentionally. It just kind of happened that way. I wish I had like this really great overarching statement like, yes, I've been vegetarian for all these years. I predominantly eat vegetarian. It was an accident. I don't know how it happened. I do feel bad for chickens. I feel very bad for chickens. I don't feel so bad for cows. That could be because I'm iron deficient and anemic, and I kind of equate like a cow with me not passing out. That could be part of it, but I've been eating very, very vegetarian lately. And I've also, I don't know, on a side tip, I feel like I was going to go off into another offshoot of a conversation about my dietary habits, but I've been trying to improve my diet because I heard that there's like this science and this logic and this research behind if you eat well and you sleep an appropriate amount of hours, you have more energy. Who knew? Have you heard about these studies?
Vaguely. Tell me more.
Yeah. Well, it's like you don't just drink coffee. Like you also supplement your diet with like vegetables, I heard.
So coffee beans?
Right, exactly. Just chew them up. And then you just wash it down with your favorite single malt scotch. No, but I've kind of been trying to do all these like little hacky things. I don't know if it's a hack, but it's just I've been trying out a series of challenges for myself in my personal life so that I can report back on my blog about these things that I've done to help improve my productivity. And I haven't like wrote anything about it just yet, but one of the things that I'm writing about is it's not really a diet in the sense of like, oh, you're going to lose 12 pounds in 5 days. It's not like a diet, but it's like a lifestyle diet type thing. It's called FODMAP, the low FODMAP. FODMAP, FODMAP. Okay. It's like an acronym, but it's vegetables. It's like vegetables and like vegetables. You could still eat like salmon. Like it's very like fish heavy. Like there's fish involved. You can eat fish and things like that. And I think that they use ground turkey so that it's not like a vegetarian thing, but it definitely incorporates like very nutritious vegetables into everyday recipes. So I've been doing that over the last 30 days to kind of see how that would improve my productivity. Mm-hmm. And so obviously that kind of influenced how I prepare my tacos. So my taco adventures have taken a turn for like the very nutritious lately. Something tells me like all the shredded cheese might not be on FODMAP. I'd have to check into that. But yeah, so I've been doing these series of little things to kind of see what works for me to have more energy, and I'm going to report back on my blog. I've also been using like online resource like tools, like Crowdfire and things like that. I've been using all these different things to streamline my business and increase productivity. So I've been doing stuff personally and then professionally to kind of boost my business so I can report back on it.
So if you report back over the next week and a half, we can share the link. And if not, we'll share the link later. No pressure.
Yeah. I'll keep you posted on my journeys. Yeah, so it's just kind of been, when you're a new business owner or just a business owner in general, it could get overwhelming. Like, everything could be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to basically be very transparent and tell my, audience and viewership and readership and all that, the tools that I'm employing to keep my shit on task, because I think that that's very important and valuable. Because sometimes with a lot of marketers and things like that, they're like, "Oh, I'll do all this stuff for you." I'm kind of like, I'm a creative enabler. Like, I'm going to enable you to do what you do best. Here's what I've done that might help you. And some of this is also going to translate into the personal stuff, like my lifestyle, like what that looks like. Because I think it's very easy to like bliss front on Facebook and kind of communicate this superwoman persona, if you will, like the hair never out of place. And, entrepreneurship is not always pretty. And sometimes we put cauliflower in our tacos. That actually sounded a little more dirty than I intended. Anyways, next question.
So I have like the ultimate wrap-a-wrap question for this conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Pick it up.
If you could have the ultimate taco party, who would you bring along to cook with you?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, this I can do. Okay. Probably Molly Tuninsky, who has the website FitFab FODMAP. So she's like the FODMAP goddess. So I'd probably bring Miss FODMAP along so that she could, like, tell me if cauliflower is an appropriate vehicle for the cheese I'm probably not supposed to be consuming. Goodness, who else would I bring? My friend Carolyn Light, because she's a wizard.
Okay, Luca, now I want to switch to the rapid fire section. I have a few quick questions about things that make you happy, and I just want your gut reaction. Are you ready?
Okay.
Who makes you happy?
Norm Kirby.
Who's that?
Oh, that is my significant other. He is a visual artist, and he's blowing up a little bit right now. He does a lot of fence art installation around Jersey City and New York.
So it's good that your significant other makes you happy. Finish the sentence. I'm happiest when?
I'm in the banya.
When are you that's never mind. That's related. Do you have a happy food?
Oh my goodness, tacos.
I walked right into that one.
That's okay.
What is the happiest word you can think of?
Spiffy.
What is the happiest moment you can think of?
I was invited to go to South by Southlawn last year, and it was amazing. Probably, I don't know if they'll ever do that again now. That was under Obama, but it was beautiful. It was like about 2,000 people. It was all by invite only. I was recognized as being a creative and innovative community leader in the state of New Jersey, and I was invited. And it was gorgeous. I ate a burrito on the South Lawn. Cross that off the bucket list. It was amazing. It was amazing. The Lumineers played. I got to watch the sunset on the South Lawn. They gave me like a South by Southlawn like camping blanket. It was amazing.
Congratulations on the recognition.
Thank you. That was really cool. I loved it.
And who is the happiest person you can think of?
Like relentlessly optimistic.
Whatever happiest means.
Whatever happiest means. Like curmudgeonly happy?
Could be.
I am going to go Kelly Heaton.
Who's that?
Kelly Heaton is my right hand with Creative Enabler. She puts up with my shit and keeps me in line, so she really deserves like hero status for that. Not all heroes wear capes. So. But she's just she has a very dry sense of humor, but she really is pretty content and happy and relentlessly upbeat. And I don't think she would appreciate me spilling her tea that way. I think she would prefer that people think of her as just this dry, very sarcastic person. But she's pretty steadfast. She's pretty tenacious, and she's I would say she's pretty darn happy.
Well, and it's interesting you say curmudgeonly happy because we think that people who are bright and sunny all the time are happy, and not necessarily. One of the things that I've learned from this project is that happiness and cheer are not the same. You can be very happy without being cheerful. So
that's true.
So I guess
like me.
I guess Kelly's one of those examples based on your description. She's very happy, but not necessarily rah-rah all the time.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So, Luca, if we want to find you, if we want to learn more about you, want to learn more about the Creative Enabler, where can we go?
It's super easy, creativeenabler.com.
Mm-hmm.
My Twitter, also Creative Enabler. My Facebook, surprise, it's Creative Enabler. Now, my Instagram, on the other hand, is creative_enabler. Yeah, I know.
Thanks for making it so tough on us.
I know. Well, here's the deal. Luca Cusolito, my personal IG, used to be Creative Enabler, and then I realized that I really need to segment the two. Like, I need to break them off. Because not everybody with Creative Enabler really wants to see a million pictures of my cats and the tacos that I made.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and split those two up. So yeah, creative_enabler.
Okay. And I'll make sure to put links so that people who can't remember the underscore will be able to link to it.
Sure.
Luca, thank you so much for sharing what makes you happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luca, for sharing what makes you happy. Thanks, everyone, for listening. A special thanks to Jason Zappolo for editing this episode, Orly Margulis for help with social media, and Rocio Castañeda for ongoing support. You can learn more about this project and listen to all the episodes at thehappypodcast.com, and we're on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Happy Podcast, and YouTube, youtube.com/thehappypodcast. Please go to iTunes and subscribe so you can get all the updates in your phone. And if you leave us a 5-star review, more people can find us. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you soon.